Some other information I would like to explain to you guys. So, BlackRock. And Vanguard. You don't have the permission. Those licenses you have that are the hedge fund license are my relatives. That is my relatives, meaning my grandfathers. When I went to look in the archives, went to look in the United States PTO, which has to do with patents, trademarks office, when I looked in that specific section, when I went to New York State and I asked my relative, can I see a signature of my grandfather's? That signature you have is a forged signature. The original signature is in the PTO office. Most of your companies that is affiliated with Vanguard and BlackRock do not have licenses anymore. I will go in front of a committee, just like I did with the workers' comp, and explain the same set of information. To any of these investors that are affiliated with Vanguard and BlackRock, you should pull your money out of that company to begin with, because they are involved with the Zelle and this ID.me incident. Now, I want to explain this other bit of information. My friend Harold Peterson, he had an apartment. I was allowed to stay there because I paid some rent in the city. When I was physically there, he was an investigator for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. He had showed me. I was allowed to see it because I had to go to the 23rd floor. All right, I went to the 23rd floor, number 26. I will show you the address, so you know I'm not giving you a story. 26 Federal Plaza, where the headquarters is. It's on the database system. It's on my phone. He had to go there. I had to testify in a workers' comp case that was related to his matter that had to do with things with this pandemic. I'm going to explain this one time. You are not allowed to run any business in the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It is the same thing in the Central Intelligence Agency without my permission, because I, no offense, own most of those patents and licenses. My grandfather that was on one side of the family and my other grandfather on the other side of the family was supposed to be given those licenses. You stole those licenses. You're not allowed to steal things that do not belong to you. You committed copyright infringement. There are rules, regulations that I built when I set up my company to begin with, that I did legitimately, that I'm going to put on Google Docs, that I literally put on Google Docs. And I basically explain them. Literally this. All these rules that the company that I built legitimately, I took out of articles of corporation. I had to show all these documents to these people. You licensed and operated it under the state and the federal. So I'm going to explain this again. You cannot run anything forward with crypto or anything with cybersecurity because you don't have the licenses. I had to testify up in Albany. And I put my career on the line. I did stuff that I was not supposed to do. And no offense, the President of the United States and the President's assistant, who is named Alan D., I'm not going to name his last name, but I'm going to put it in the letter to begin with. He had to vouch for me. I had to go in front of a committee. Do you realize you didn't pay me a certain amount of money? You had me do military stuff. You had me do federal stuff. You had me do state. I didn't get paid for any of that. And then I find out my advisor tells me later, Mr. Rocco says that I was supposed to get paid for that. So I'm going to explain another statement. You're not, most of those companies that are run, you're not supposed to do taxes if you're committed felony or you committed business espionage or you committed a terrorist acts. You're not supposed to do any of that stuff. And you knew about what Pfizer and the CDC and one of these organizations are willing to do. And you let it go through. And you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to notify the police department. You're supposed to notify Homeland Security and etc. You guys didn't even do that. You had you have a hundreds of page document that you had planned since 2014. And the past president prior to President Biden, prior to President Trump, knew about it. And he was aware of it. And if he's not willing to admit it, then that's a serious problem. Then something was hidden from him. You're hiding stuff, and you're not allowed to hide stuff. The second thing I'm going to say with this Ukraine incident, you don't have the taxpayers' permission because I filed a lawsuit with half a dozen of those people and those companies besides that, and half of those taxpayers. They do not want to get involved in this Ukraine incident. And the president should understand that. I'm not tolerating this behavior no more. I'm not doing these videos anymore. I'm tired of it. I want to get paid and I want my stuff back. And you're going to start having to respect some of these people who are doctors and lawyers that work very hard during this pandemic. And a lot of these judges, you're held responsible. And I don't want to hear it. So thank you guys. Have a good day.